On the news, bandits attack claims 15 lives in Sokoto State. Labour Party crisis deepens as Abure-led faction asks Obi to resign in 48 hours for joining ADC coalition. And military kills notorious terrorist, nabs 1,191 others. It's glad to have you join us on the news on TV360 Nigeria. I'm Tamilore Akinkolye. We begin in Sokoto State, where armed bandits attacked the Tangaza local government area of the state, killing 15 persons, with several persons sustaining varying degrees of injuries. Local sources said the suspected assailants stormed the village in the early hours of Wednesday and started shooting sporadically, and in the process killed over 15 persons. Some community members expressed concerns over the persistent violence in the area, alleging that some persons and part of the community collaborated with terrorists unleashing violence on citizens in the area. Community members claimed that the recent attack was carried out by a group of notorious bandits in the area identified as Charimbe. The executive chairman of the local government council led a delegation to the village and attended the mass burial of the victims. And in political matters, the road to Nigeria's 2027 general election is already eating up, with the African Democratic Congress ADC, once a fringe political player, emerging as the adopted platform for a powerful opposition coalition. However, internal divisions threaten to undermine the momentum, as a faction within the party contends that the coalition was constituted in violation of due process. Allegations of illegality, internal power struggles, and fears of a party hijack have fuel intentions, putting the coalition's future at risk shortly after its official launch. Now, TV360's Victoria Konde has the full story.
The African Democratic Congress (ADC), established in 2005, was founded as a reformist alternative in Nigeria's political space, aiming to provide issue-based, people-centered governance. For over a decade, the party maintained a relatively quiet national profile until 2018, when former President Olusegun Obasanjo's Coalition for Nigerian Movement (CNM) merged with it. That moment briefly elevated the party's relevance, but electoral success still remained elusive. The ADC has now found itself in the national spotlight once again. At a strategic meeting in Abuja, opposition heavyweights including Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, Nasir El-Rufai, Rotimi Amechi and David Mark formally adopted the ADC as the interim vehicle for a grand coalition ahead of the 2027 general elections. The idea is to use the ADC's existing structure while a new party, the All Democratic Alliance (ADA), undergoes registration with INEC.
It is on record that within 2 years of the current administration coming to power, it has hijacked all democratic institutions and sent our country on a creeping descent into total civilian dictatorship. The blatant destabilization and infiltration of all major opposition political parties is aimed at achieving only one objective: to enhance total state capture and leave Nigerians with no alternative options in 2027.
Putting heads together for the sake of our country. So at times I want to feel that the next thing will be, why don't we say ADC in Nigeria first? But Arise Nigeria and Share is great. Nigerians are yearning for change. Nigerians are yearning for coalition because they feel that they want all of you, everybody, to come together. If you're well-meaning and if you're for the country, come together.
But this move has not gone unchallenged. Factions within the ADC, particularly former party executives and members of the Board of Trustees, have kicked back, labeling the coalition adoption unconstitutional and procedurally flawed. They argue that the decision was made without proper consultation with the National Executive Committee or input from grassroots structures.
Can you enter a man's house through the back door and declare yourself the landlord? These yesterday's men who represent a bad chapter in Nigeria's past have bought bad markets from a man who represents a bad chapter in ADC's past. Nigerians have watched in amazement as this group of mostly geriatrics shopped around for a party to prosecute their chopping must continue ambition. This further cements the opinion most hold that political parties in Nigeria stand for nothing and will fall for anything. They have told us that they are fighting for the rights of ordinary Nigerians and that they are on a rescue mission. But what is confusing to the Nigerians they want to rescue is that these men, made up of a former vice president, former governors, ministers, and political office holders, are the same people who have presided over the affairs of this nation for the past 4 decades. We have absolutely nothing to show for their decades of leadership other than being seen as a nation divided by tribe and religion and thriving in mediocrity.
Dumebi Kachuku, the ADC's presidential candidate in the 2023 election, described the coalition effort as an attempted hijack by power-driven politicians and advised them to seek another platform if their goal is to advance self-serving interests, insisting that the ADC must remain true to its founding principles and not become a pawn in elite political maneuvering.
Nigerians have never asked for much other than a leadership that truly cares. You have failed us and stand rejected by us. If you seek to be a part of the ADC, do the proper thing and come through the front door. We are a party of decent and well-behaved people.
This internal division is now threatening to unravel what was supposed to be a united opposition front. While coalition leaders defend the move as a practical step towards 2027, the centers within the party warn of legal action and possible fragmentation. Victoria Akonde, TV360 News, Lagos.
Meanwhile, the Labour Party is in fresh turmoil as Julius Abure-led faction issued a 48-hour ultimatum to its 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi, demanding his resignation over his involvement in the newly formed opposition coalition. In a statement released on Thursday, party spokesperson Obiora Ifo described the coalition as a gathering of recycled, desperate and frustrated politicians. He also accused Obi of holding secret meetings with Labour Party members to convince them to join the coalition. However, in a swift response, acting National Chairman Nnamdi Usman dismissed the ultimatum, stating that the Abure-led faction has no legitimate authority within the party. Through her aide, Usman described the group as a political justice, citing a Supreme Court ruling that allegedly sacked and suspended Abure and his loyalists from the party for repeated acts of indiscipline. She confirmed that Peter Obi's participation in the coalition had received official party approval, stressing that the move aligns with Labour Party's broader goals of building a strong opposition ahead of the 2027 general elections. Now, joining me to discuss this further is political affairs analyst Jide Ojo. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, Mr. Ojo, what's your initial take on the adoption of ADC as the interim platform for the opposition coalition ahead of 2027?
It's a welcome development, Tamilore. In politics is full of intrigues. It's a game of interest, a game of treachery, a game of betrayal, and in politics, just expect anything. But I like the background that you gave to this discussion, which means that even in 2018, when former President Olusegun Obasanjo backed ADC to be the third force and the game changer, it was of no moment. Now that ADC, with the new heavyweights joining it, are going to face a lot of litigations and dragging. I just hope that they will be able to untangle themselves to be focused on achieving their main goal. Yes, they may be yesterday's men, But they also have their own value, whether you want to call it nuisance value or whatever. I believe it's a welcome development to the extent that their emergence will put the ruling APC on its toes, because the slide into one-party states, as we know it to be, is a dangerous trend that needed to be halted. So I'm glad that PDP has somehow been able to resolve its leadership crisis, and now with the emergence of ADC, this is reminiscent of the emergence of Labour Party and NNPP in the lead up to 2023 general elections, when Rabi Musa Kwankwaso moved into NNPP and turned it into a vibrant election winning platform. And then Peter Obi in May 2022 moved from PDP into Labour Party and turning into a beautiful bride, where they are able to have senators, House of Reps, State House of Assembly members, and even produced a governor in Abia State. However, this is just in tune with alignment and the alignment of forces ahead of 2027. And in the lead up to that 2027, there will be a lot of pawn on the chessboard. People to be sacrificed, people to move around, people will want to go to where their interests will be well protected. So we wait to see how whether ADC will be able to take off on a smooth ride, or whether it will be bogged down by litigations.
Now, some factions within the ADC, including its former presidential candidates during the 2023 election, it claims that the adoption process of this party was unconstitutional and lacked internal consultations. Now, how valid do you see these concerns when you're coming from a political standpoint?
I empathize with Jumebi Kachuku, and it's not only in the voiced out concern. Even the publicity secretary of ADC issued a statement yesterday condemning what has happened as a kind of political hijack and a sellout. So that's why I said this coalition may be bogged down by litigations, because I'm very sure there will be all manner of matters filed in court to determine who actually is the authentic leader of ADC. And this will be too bad a time for them, because this is the time for them to build the party, but they are most likely going to be spending quality time in court trying to extricate and get favorable judgments to determine whether they have done the proper thing. Because I was surprised yesterday morning, there was a breaking news around 9:30, 10 in the morning, that David Mark has resigned his membership of PDP. And few hours after, 3-4 hours after, there was another breaking news that he has become the national chairman of ADC, or presumptive acting national chairman of ADC. The same day that the Rafun Wosu, who is the chairman before yesterday, the same day he claimed to have stepped down, the same day David Mark resigned from PDP, the same day he became the acting national chairman. This does not portray an action that took into consideration the feelings and interests of the ordinary member of ADC. And that's why there is allegation and accusation of sellout and cashing out. We may not be able to substantiate whether there was money exchanging us, but it just fly in the face that people have not even resigned from their previous party, and they are already hobnobbing and claiming to be chieftain of another party. This is very sad, and it shows how weak our political institutions are, particularly our political parties.
All right. Thank you for lending in your thoughts as usual, political affairs analyst Jide Ojo. Thank you so much. In other stories, the Defense Headquarters DHQ was revealed the troops of the Nigerian Armed Forces eliminated several notorious terrorist kingpins and arrested over 1,191 suspects across different operational theaters from April to June 2025. According to the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Marcus Kangeye, key terrorist and bandit kingpins were neutralized and several members of IPOB and ESN were apprehended as part of intensified internal security operations across various regions. In the 3-month period under review, troops arrested 1,191 suspect terrorists, rescued 543 kidnapped victims, and accepted the surrender of 682 terrorists and their families. Additionally, the military recorded major progress in curbing economic sabotage with the interception of oil theft operating valued at over 3.5 billion naira.
Our troops killed several terrorist kingpins and their foot soldiers, arrested over 1,191 of them, and rescued about 543 kidnapped victims. During the quarter also, about 682 terrorists and their families surrendered to our troops. Among the terrorists eliminated were dreaded Amir Abu Fatima, Kingpin Auta, Abdul Jamilu, Salisu Malam, Jida, Maiwada, and Maidada, as well as Nwanchi Eze, otherwise known as Ono. And just 2 days ago, a bandit kingpin, Yolo Dambokolo, succumbed to injuries sustained during an encounter with our troops the previous week, where many of his lieutenants were also eliminated. Similarly, troops of Operation Delta Safe foiled oil theft worth over 3,500,435,234 naira only. The breakdown indicates that 2,381,239 liters of stolen crude oil, 605,309 liters of illegally refined AGO, 41,465 liters of dual-purpose kerosene, and 26,905 liters of premium motor spirit. These were also recovered. In addition, troops discovered and destroyed about 174 illegally refining sites.
News now go on a short break, but still to come, 4 dead, 13 missing after ferry sinks on way to Indonesia's Bali. Details of the story after this break. Welcome back. Now let's give you a quick recap of some of our top stories. Armed bandits attacked the Tengaza local government area of Sokoto State, killing 15 persons, with several persons sustaining varying degrees of injuries. Community members claimed that the recent attack was carried out by a group of notorious bandits in the area identified as Charimbe. We also told you that the Labour Party is in fresh turmoil as the Julius Abure-led faction issued a 48-hour ultimatum to its 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi, demanding his resignation over his involvement in the newly formed opposition coalition. In a statement released on Thursday, party spokesperson Obiora Ifo described the coalition as a gathering of recycled, desperate and frustrated politicians. He also accused Obi of holding secret meetings with Labour Party members to convince them to join the coalition. Now, in case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, you can catch us on Lime's World TV and AVO TV. Log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery and Apple Store. On Facebook, we are TV360 Online. It's time for business news, and Okpayemi Owosheni is on standby to give us the update. Over to you, Okpayemi.
Thank you, Familori, and welcome to Business News. The fellows of the Lateef Jakande Leadership Academy have launched the Empowerability Hub at Ikeja Senior High School, one of Lagos State's inclusive schools, as part of a broader push to promote digital inclusion and accessible education. The hub is designed to provide a supportive learning environment where students of all abilities can thrive, aligning with the Lagos State government's Themes Plus agenda, focused on education, technology, and inclusion. The fellows also held a two-day training for teachers on foundational strategies for inclusive education. Speaking at the event, the Academy's Executive Secretary, Aishat Agbaje Okwande, described the hub as a powerful symbol of inclusion and innovation.
We introduced a capstone project. So part of the capstone project is that they fundraise for a particular project that is there to their community, and it changes their community, and they do that project. So I'm very proud of the team here today. So they are doing something amazing. They're being super duper inclusive, and that's important. They're remembering those that are maybe marginalized today, and they're integrating them back in society by digitalizing their classrooms, creating LED boards, digital boards for them, and to make learning is easy, because the world is also moving now, and it's important that we become as inclusive in order to adapt and adopt them and adopt their needs.
It takes a degree of discipline for them to be able to know how to communicate in a world where everyone cannot really speak their language. So the project is just on bridging that gap when it comes to technology, for them to be able to believe in themselves and know that, okay, even if they can learn vocational skills, the world of technology is also open to them. So that's why we've always advocated for, okay, yes, even if they learn vocational skills like hair making, bag making, you can also contribute to the world of technology by introducing AI to them, the wonders of AI. With the world rapidly evolving, they need to also know that they can also contribute to the technology of Nigeria, Lagos, and also the world at large.
And the plus in that Themes Plus is inclusivity. That means that no one should be left behind. So we're here to support the Academy and to encourage these young students so that they can achieve and become the best that they can be.
It's time for a short break, but we'll be back with updates from the stock markets. Welcome back. The stock market is still on a positive note on the month of July, as increased by 0.53% on the third weekday of trading, with the market capitalization at 76.69 trillion naira. Now, leading the top gainers, we have Berger Nigeria with 33 naira 0 kobo. We also have Academy Press at 5 naira 61 kobo per share. Now, at the close of trading on today's stock market, we see our market still up and the gainers still making their round, with a volume of 933 million, the value at 29 billion naira, and the deals at 24,207 naira. Now, moving on now to the foreign exchange market, it's a similar situation as well, as the global stocks are on the rise as well. We see the UK FTSE, the US Dow Jones, and Japan's Nikkei in the bulls. Now, moving on to the foreign exchange market, the naira is trading at 1,629 naira 94 kobo on the official window. We also see the Great British Pound at 2,085 1,005 naira and 01 kobo on the official window as well, and the euro at 1,805 naira 64 kobo on the official window too. And that's it for your business and stock market updates. Tamilore, over to you for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Okpayemi. On the global scene, at least 4 people have died and 30 others remain missing after a ferry sank en route to Bali from Java, Indonesia's main island, amid rough seas late Wednesday night. The vessel, carrying 65 passengers and crew, went under just before midnight, and so far 31 survivors have been rescued, with search and rescue operations ongoing. Indonesia's National Search and Rescue Agency has also deployed a helicopter to aid in the operation as effort intensified to locate the missing. And Russia has confirmed the death of Major General Mikhail Gudkov, deputy head of Russian Army Navy near the Ukrainian border in the western Kursk region. The senior military officer appointed by President Vladimir Putin in March was reportedly killed during combat work, according to a statement from Russia's defense ministry, which provided no additional details. The Kursk region, which borders Ukraine's Sumy region, has seen periodic clashes since Kyiv launched a surprise offensive there last summer. Gudkov's death marks one of the most significant losses for Moscow since the beginning of its full-scale invasion of Ukraine. And finally, on sport, Liverpool striker Diogo Jota has died in a fatal car crash while driving through Zamora, a Spanish town near the Portuguese border. According to initial reports, the vehicle veered off the road due to a tire blowout while overtaking another car. His younger brother, Andre Silva, was also in the vehicle and tragically lost his life in the crash. Jota had recently undergone minor surgery and was advised by doctors not to fly. As a result, he opted to drive from Porto to Santander in northern Spain to catch a ferry back to England, where Liverpool's preseason training was set to begin on Monday. Now, tributes have poured in from the football world, including from his Portuguese club, who mourned the loss of 2 brothers. And that wraps up our bulletin on news now. Many thanks for watching. I'm Tamilore Akinkwoli. See you again next time.